smooth operators. It's Bay Health this hour. So Madonna, you're such a sweet operator. So look, I'll hand the mic back to you.
Thank you. So we've been chatting with Alice and how, basically bullying in the workplace has sort of destroyed her health and, quite a lot of her mental health over the last years. So I was sort of going to chat for the last little while about how, once again, when you have the spare money to actually get treatments done, what has helped you in the past?
Definitely not medication that the doctors have given me. That actually, which surprised me.
And you've tried all sorts of things, haven't you? You've really given things a good go.
Yep. I did everything I was told because you go to the doctor because you think that they know. Unfortunately, I've never been so sick in all my life, so I ended up weaning myself off the medication.
Yeah. And your doctors weren't happy with you when you went off the drugs, were they?
No, the psychiatrist was anything but happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on my last session with her, I walked in with a photo of me when I was well and happy and pointed to it and said, do you remember this woman? This is the woman you met however many years ago. I said, look at the difference, are you looking at the same woman?
Yeah.
And I actually even threw up on her in the surgery one day and I said, this is why I don't want to keep taking the pills.
Yeah.
I just couldn't keep doing it.
Yeah.
I really couldn't.
So the drugs have really caused things like
Kidney stones,
leaky gut dysfunction, irritable bowel syndrome. Not to mention not fixing any of the mental health, which is what you were doing there for in the first place.
Taking it, and yet that's always been a constant. It's never improved.
Yeah, and I suspect the thyroid has become an issue because of that as well.
Yeah, well, it is an issue on both sides of the family. But like I said, when I was younger, everything was maintained by good diet and exercise.
Yes.
But when you have major stress and high level stress and ongoing, you just can't keep doing it.
And what's interesting, because we've done several tests with Alice at the clinic, and what's been good is that when we've done things like, say, the oligo scan, which checks for heavy metals and things, because you do tend to try to keep up when you've got the finances to do it, you keep up with minerals, so most of them end up not looking too bad. There's a few minerals that are a bit deficient, which I think are the ones that really, so
that's typical with fibromyalgia though. Too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So people with chronic muscular pain need high levels of magnesium, and then you need to be detoxing. This is one of the problems with a lot of these drugs, is that they can block pathways in the liver that stop your body from being able to
utilise the good stuff that you're doing. So I've commented a few times, and I didn't mean it disrespectfully to you, but I feel like I have expensive urine because I put the good stuff in when I can afford to, but the problem is my body doesn't know what to do with it. It's so altered from how it used to be. Even when you do constantly put the good stuff in, it just doesn't know what to do with it.
Something at some stage, I think it would be a really clever thing to do next time you're at your doctor's, to check your methylation, the MTHFR gene, to see whether that's working or not, because if that gene isn't working, it messes up methylation in the liver, and if you're not methylating properly, your body is building up toxins rather than releasing toxins, and that stops your body from being able to heal itself. So that's something for people to know about the MTHFR gene. There's been a lot of research in, say, the last, 8-10 years about that, and it's quite often, I don't know the cost. I know that we can do it, but naturopathically it's around 120 or something like that. And I think even though they have found that your thyroid has been wanting and you are on medication for that, it's probably not a bad idea to find out your level of antibodies, because if you don't know your level of antibodies, then and you do have high levels, it means that your thyroid is being attacked every day, and emotional stress is one of the big things that attacks your thyroid. So it means that your body can actually be in this implosion and you're unaware of it. At least if you're aware of it, you can start really trying to do things that are quite pro. Now, you've also learnt techniques for yourself, like tapping, the tapping techniques. Yeah. So can you tell a little bit about that?
I deliberately went looking for that. I've certainly done a lot of research because I don't respond to medication, so I am very pro alternative therapies.
Yes.
Because the body does respond to that. So I've had positive response with acupuncture. I've had positive response with kinesiology. Tapping is one of the more recent times.
So that's EFT?
Yes.
Okay, so emotional freedom,
techniques,
yes.
Yeah. But you have to keep working at it. I've done the meditation as well. I wasn't really good at it when I started, but you just got to keep going. You've got to keep doing it. But finding the time, finding the finances, that's the biggest problem. I'd love to do hydrotherapy for the fibromyalgia, just for pain relief. When you're constantly in pain and you're in pain every day, and then that leads to misperceptions. People say, oh, you're angry because we look on your face. If only they would ask, I'm not angry, I'm actually in pain.
Right.
But they don't care enough to ask because they know. They know what I mean without even asking me, apparently.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've done with Alice with the kinesiology is that quite often by the time you end up booking in to see me, and I know finances are always challenged, so by the time you end up booking in to see me, the body's gone in full on into fight and flight and survival mode again.
I think I live there.
Yeah, so it's almost like your body just gets to this state again, regularly, like it, where basically your body has no choice but to batten down the hatches, but then what it does, when the body goes into survival, it does things like shut down the gut. It eliminates, so people can end up with diarrhea, they can end up with vomiting, they can end up with migraines and headaches. So it sort of can really impact massively because it makes you exhausted, because also there's that stuff called fibrin, which the liver releases when it thinks it's about to get attacked by the tiger. So, it's a deliberate clotting agent to try to make sure that when the tiger attacks, you don't bleed out and die. But of course, what that does is thickens your blood. Once again, it stops nutrition getting into your cells.
I'm never going to bleed out. Every blood test I've ever had, like they stick the needle in, they can't find blood.
Right.
And that's a real concern when it's on the left side and you've got the aorta and the heart pumping and you go, oh my God, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And I always really, really struggle. They've had to get it out of my feet. They take it on the back of the hand, anywhere they can get a bone. Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah. So with the kidney stones, sort of, let's just talk energetically for a while, because I know you know a lot about this. So kidneys are relating to fear and anxiety, sort of in Chinese medicine, and the adrenal glands sit right on top of the kidneys. So when the adrenals are go, 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 go all the time because you're in fight and float all day because you're constantly on eggshells, your poor little adrenal glands, they're burnt out, but it's like having a bully living next door to the kidneys. So then the kidneys sort of stop working and it messes...
Well, it's also, isn't it stored anger? Kidney stones are stored anger.
Well, the fear feeds the anger,
Yeah, and it's all that suppression as well, because you keep your mouth shut because you just don't want World War II to happen. And so you would think after a number of surgeries that they'd take all of them, and in fact I was quite happy to have the surgery because I thought, well, I've done all this emotional work and I haven't been able to do it myself.
Yes.
So they'll go in there and they'll cut the damn things out and it'll be over and done with. No, they're still there.
Yeah.
So
several surgeries later.
Can't win.
Yeah. And things like because your body's so acidic, because I know you know, so when the body is too acidic, it ends up affecting things like the pancreas and everything gets affected when the body's too acidic. It can make us have headaches, it can give us aches and pains, it can build up lactic acid in all your muscles, creating the fibromyalgia, it can eat away the joints, creating arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. So with the acidity, that sort of also can put you in that position where when you do anything good for yourself, you can have detox reactions.
Yes, very much so. I've often had healing crises, which is unfortunate. So I do the right thing by myself. I've had a session with you, or I've had a session with acupuncture or whatever, and it might feel good during the session, and then I'm as sick as a dog the very next day, and you go, oh no, you've done the right thing, what is going on? But I've learnt that it's a healing crisis.
Yeah. So you just have to know you've got the next day, to recover.
Down. Yeah. So you've got to plan it. So plan it in terms of finances and plan it in terms of you need downtime afterwards. Yeah. Because there's no way you could function properly when you're in that state. Because I'm a bit of a screaming head.
Yeah. And I've got to say that as a pracky, because I work on survival things, I suppose my kinesiology treatments are I fit a lot in to a session.
You more so than anyone. You're the fastest person I've ever known. You're amazing.
So I work fairly fast, so it is a bit gentler when people see Kat and Georgia for kinesiology, but I do tend to have, I hate to say it, but people have more side effects with me than they do with any other kinesiologist, but it's because I do believe I work on the real underlying causes of things, because I'm sort of trying to reboot the survival patterns and get that all clear. And even though I do try to get the conscious brain back up and running, I always check all the organs, but I suppose there's nothing you can do when the body is just dumping that emotional, because they're emotional
it's just too much.
It's just too much,
What I'd wish is, it'd be good if but you'd be exhausted as well. It'd be great if we could just do a whole day session and just purge the whole damn lot and be over and done with it.
Yeah.
It'd be great, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work like that.
No, you've got to be more gentle.
Yeah, yeah. So with your moving forward, so obviously your aim is to get another job. Your aim is to get out of this.
Well, in order to do that, though, I have to be well.
Yes.
So that to be healthy and happy are
Yeah.
the priorities, and then the job will follow from that, because I've got to be
Yeah.
well enough to sell myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, you also know about the benefits of positivity and putting yourself out there and believing in
definitely.
yourself and doing affirmations and goal setting and all of that sort of thing.
And that's the daily intention, you know, and you sing in the car on the way to work and all the rest of it, and you haven't even put your handbag down in the morning and someone's already kicked you in the guts, and you just
Yeah.
go, oh my God, here we
Yeah.
go. It's going to be
Yeah.
one of those days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that's fabulous, and I'm sure everyone who's been listening to you today feels for you, Alice, because anyone who's ever been bullied sort of knows. I sort of have been thinking about, and I think I mentioned him last week. I treat a lot of kids who are being bullied at school, and I know this didn't happen for you, but it's such a challenging thing, I think, for teachers, actually. Yeah, for teachers, because if you don't see the bullying, how do you do something about it? Because then you've got 2 kids, 3 kids, all telling different stories, and where do you go from that teaching perspective? You sort of have to obviously chat to each child. But I think from the perspective of the bully, they might be having something go on at home, so it would be good if they were in a good space emotionally, to be able to move forward.
That the bully has often been bullied themselves,
Yeah.
and that's why they assume that role.
Yeah, and I think with the kids who are being bullied, because they're who we see more. Sometimes we see the kids who are the bullies. Oh, actually, that is. Oh, now I spin that on its head. Kids with, like the angry Asperger's and ADHD kids. I know there's a lot of gorgeous kids with these sort of things, but the kids who are the angry ones, they're probably the ones we see a lot in the clinic, just trying to get them calmed down. We use homeopathics and nutrients and things to calm down their nervous systems. And the parents are amazed what triggers these things. Kids can be absolutely fine until they're not. And when they're not, they're just in a state of angry. Yeah, and it can be the birth of a kid, it can be a change of teacher, it can be it can be...
Change is not good.
Yeah, change is often not good for the psyche.
Security comes with continuity.
Yeah.
Knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
And how to respond to it. It's the insecurity.
Yeah, so I think so many people need that security in their life. But yeah, I think knowing, from someone's perspective, if they're being bullied, the kinesiology helps to change the way the brain works so that it can stay functional under stress for longer. Like you say, going back into the lion's den, obviously the fear's going to come back.
Definitely.
But it's sort of...
And get it in the childhood stage.
Beautiful.
As I've learned.
Anyway, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that today, Alice. Thanks, Paul J.
Well, listen, yes, thank you for coming in, Alice. Very interesting, and I hope a few people who find their bullying are able to accept that they do that and maybe able to change their mind. That would be fantastic, I think, if that would possibly happen. But that's one of those things we have to wait and see, I guess. And meanwhile, I'd like to play a song for you. Turn, turn, turn.